This episode of Meet Me for Coffee is brought to you by Coffee Cola, an awesome carbonated coffee drink that is great on summer days like today, right here in Canada. Right now, it is like 43 degrees, and check it out. You want some? It's amazing. I really rely on it to mix with my whiskey. I'm a big fan of Crown Royal and Ryan Coke or whiskey and Coke. And Nikki, you should try this, by the way. It's amazing.
Looks delicious.
CoffeeColaCanada.com. And yeah, so it's an awesome drink. A lot of the celebrities and rock stars that come on the show end up getting some. It's spreading pretty fast, and you should check it out. Also by Chatter 365, a new messaging app that has anti-trolling software. So, I can't be mean to you. It doesn't let me harass you. And it also has an auto translate option, which is, not an option, actually just happens just by itself. So say your family's in Greece and they speak Greek. They can type to you in Greek. It translates to you automatically. And whatever
Wow.
you say in English, it translates to them in Greek. So you don't have to go to Google Translate and then get miscommunication and this and that. So you can check them out at chatter365.com. We got Nikki from Hooked Like Helen here. How's it going, Nikki?
It's going awesome. How are you?
It's going amazing. I hear that you guys spent, you and your husband are a duo that write music together, which for
Yes.
me, honestly, like me and my sister and I, we like music, but we can never collaborate together. And that's because we have two different states of mind and we want to go. I'm more of a heavy metal guy. I like to, you play
Right.
that nice little soft riff and all of a sudden it's like, hey, why don't we just throw in something like this and it's like, no, I don't want that. But how do you guys collaborate so well?
Well, we were musicians together first. So honestly, I think we're maybe better at that than at the other stuff, like being married. Um, because we met in a band in LA. I grew up out there in Southern California, and John had moved out there from Cleveland, Ohio, which is where we are now, to join a band. And then I joined the band, and so we knew how to do that and be like artistic collaborators first. So then when our lives changed and we had a new chapter and we moved out here to Cleveland, it was sort of a no-brainer that we would like continue with music even though we were now like a family.
And you guys have is a daughter or a son?
We have a son. His name's Augie, and he is 7.
Oh, I have a son too, and his name's Pavlos, and he's 5 months. He's 5 months old.
Oh
Yeah,
my
yeah.
goodness,
He's
congratulations.
thank you. It's pretty cool to see something that looks like you. Looks exactly
Yeah.
like you. It's really
Yes.
surreal when you look at your baby photos. Does your son look anything like you or your husband? Oh,
He
obviously,
does.
but I'm just any
Yeah.
similarities to when you guys were children.
Yeah, he looks enough like my husband that it's good. Yeah, I feel like it's sort of like 50-50. Like he really like is a perfect blend of both of us, which is super weird. And he has a lot of John's mannerisms, like especially as he's getting older, and it's just like, whoa, this is weird. Just this
Well,
little mini
well, I always thought that I'd be playing in bands and touring and this and that and doing radio and being so busy and I'd have a sports car. Well, I have a family car and I have a Durango, a Dodge Durango, and it's a pretty
yes.
muscular car, but
Yeah.
it's no Porsche. I can't really fit in a Porsche. What am I saying? I'm lying. I can't fit in a Porsche. I would never pick that. But anyway,
Indeed.
yeah. So I think the family thing in music or a family thing in podcasts or a family thing in radio or whatever, or if you have a different business, it's always business and music. So how do you separate all that from being a mother?
Well, we do try our best to compartmentalize things a little bit, but I feel like for the most part, everything's all just kind of blended into one. I mean, our son is down here with us while we run our set. We keep things quiet, so it's okay. And he likes to give us like, his advice on things and his opinion on stuff. And the business side of it is for grown-ups or whatever, but like it's really a family affair, and it just life and art and everything just kind of all blend into one.
Well, yeah, obviously it's super hard sometimes. You want to play music. Music can be kind of therapeutic. I know that. I have my basses set up around my studio here. And speaking of studios, you guys have your own studio, and I heard that was it your husband's uncle. He passed away, and he passed down some pretty cool
Yeah.
stuff, some equipment. The M box, I heard. I still
Yes.
have that as well. Um,
Yes.
it's amazing how good of quality material or content you can produce now, just with a mixing board or just with a laptop.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like I feel super fortunate for that. And like honestly, like one of like my very few regrets, maybe not few, but one of my biggest regrets is in this whole musical journey has been not self-recording and learning that side of things earlier, because it fell into our laps and it was like, well, we better do something with this. And it's literally like these speakers here and the M box, which we just upgraded for this new EP that we're working on now, but like everything that's out that Hooked Like Helen was on the M box. And like internal, just like software mixing board, nothing hardware wise, and just being able to do that is like, it's crazy. Like it's really cool. Like technology's come a long way for sure.
It's incredible because people are always like, how do you make your podcast sound so good? How do you like when I used to work on radio, we had a whole studio, a computer and
Right.
all these processors and whatever. And I only have like one little interface. It's pretty big now, but that's one of those roadcasters. It's got like all the sliders and this and that, but it
Nice.
just blows me away. People had to go into the studio when they used to record music, or they still do. There's people who are really good at it. With that being said, did you guys record all that music in that house?
Yes, for the most part. We outsourced, not outsourced, but we went to an external studio for like one acoustic guitar part when we weren't sure if we had the right mic to mic up the guitar. And then we ended up for Liar, which is kind of like our big song that ended up in with a pretty prominent placement in a movie. Parts of it were recorded in Studio City Sound after they heard our demo, just for the final release of it. But everything else is just like right
Where's
here.
Studio City? Is that in California?
Yes, Studio City, California. It's in the LA area, and
Yeah.
the Studio City Sound.
Is that the place that Dave Grohl owns? Maybe. I'm not sure. But
No,
no, no.
it is not. But Michael Jackson has recorded there before he passed away, so I
That's
thought that was
amazing.
cool.
That's
Yeah,
amazing. So you guys still get to go hang out with your crew back out in California. Well, not during this time, but
right.
um, yeah, obviously you do. So it's pretty cool to have those opportunities. When did you guys find out that your track Liar was going to be placed in the movie?
So it's actually been a really long, I guess relatively long, strange process. The song is a few years old, and we found out like at the very end of 2016, we had uploaded just an iPhone video of me playing the song to like a solo piano version of the track, to an online like free songwriting contest that like I saw scrolling through Facebook. And the prize was getting to meet the directors and creators of this dance film franchise, and then possibly getting our song in their sequel. So I uploaded it and forgot about it, and then I get an email a couple months later saying grand prize, Studio City Sound, all this stuff. And at first I was a little skeptical, like what is this? And I'm like, okay, let's try it. We got family out there in LA, let's go. And one thing led to another. They hadn't even written the script for the second film, for Highstrung Free Dance. The first one was Highstrung, but they were like, we love the song. It's Michael and Janine Damien are the directors. They're also a married couple. So nice, like really cool people. And we just had the most amazing day, like retracking some of the parts for the song. And they said, we can't guarantee that it's going to be in the movie, but, we love it. And, we're writing the script now. And so then I think like several months, almost a year maybe even went by. And then we got the phone call that it was going to be in the movie. They had written a whole scene all around the song. And then flash forward, there's Juliette Doherty, who's the star of the movie, dancing to our music. It was choreographed by Tice DiOrio, who choreographed Taylor Swift's like last
No
tour.
way.
And yeah, like, and then we're flying to Bucharest, Romania to do a music video for the song that, the music video ended up having scenes from the movie in it as well. And yeah, so like basically 2016
Eh,
through now.
One sec here. Let's back up. what's the name of the movie? Tell the listeners and the people watching the name of the movie and where they can find it. Can they find it on Netflix?
Yes. So it is High Strung Free Dance. The first one was High Strung. Free Dance is the new one. And it is on Netflix for the US and Canada. And it'll be on Netflix in Europe slowly in different countries. There's different schedules. But right now it is currently on Netflix. And yeah, it's a really cool movie. If you
A-
love dance and
And do you get
music.
royalties? How does it work to have your music in a movie?
Yeah. It's Netflix is so weird because I've done like placements type stuff like licensing and things like that, so it's kind of new for me and I'm still sort of learning, but yes. And you get a sync fee and stuff when you get your music in there and it's on the soundtrack and all that. Like you said, it's not like super lucrative to be a
No.
musician, but it's been really cool for us.
It can be a bit stressful to be a musician, and I obviously, um, I really hope I think the best days of music are still ahead of us, to be honest, because we're gonna have to find
Yeah.
another way to make money. The streaming
Right.
thing somehow works, but it doesn't. Uh,
Yeah.
if you've got to get sponsors, you got to get, for a lot of people, they need to get money in their pockets. It's very, very hard,
Right.
especially if you're in a band and being in a family. I have 3 kids, I have a wife, and they're fantastic. But I know if I want to make money, I could have to leave for like 3 or 4 years and give her a shot like every day. And I don't know who's willing to book me for 4 years in a row, but it could be tiring. It's a very big feat. So how do you guys overcome these obstacles? And in being like you obviously don't, you guys tour or no?
Well, we were about to,
Okay.
and
I
then
get
this
this.
all
I know
happened.
this story.
Yeah. So, currently, no, but that's definitely in the plans. And strangely, with the pandemic situation, like the traditional schooling setting might be a little bit different. So, like, it might actually be a little bit more possible for us to do more extensive touring with our family intact than we even thought. Trying to like have the silver lining on all this for us. Um, but yeah, it's definitely like a struggle. Like you definitely have to juggle a lot of things and moving parts, because touring is where you kind of like make your money. And fortunately for me, I've been able to like compose like cues for TV, which brings in some income. So it's not really Hook Like Helen, but it's still, an awesome outlet for me and like pays bills. So
It's incredible because there's always a backstory to every success story. Um, moving out
right.
to you guys said you guys are in Ohio now, and
Yes.
so Ohio can be kind of boring, but there's a lot of cool things happening there. A lot of opportunity. There's a sports teams. I don't know if you guys are into sports. There's
John is.
yeah. Oh, I am too. I bought this massive TV, and I don't watch any TV anymore. I watched Sons of Anarchy, the first
Okay.
season, finally.
Nice.
It's been only 10 years.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
And yeah, so I have this massive TV, and all we do is watch Full House. The girls take over, and
Oh,
they got their little stance, and they just anyway. But yeah, so
we're cute.
the lifestyles have changed for you and I. We're not playing in the Viper Room. We're not on the Sunset Strip. We're not hanging out with our friends, getting
Right.
drunk every night and partying and whatever. It's a good life to have a family, right? It's actually really calm. And sure,
Yeah,
you have your family, your other family, your extended family. How many other times can I say family? Probably a lot more. But um,
it's good.
yeah, it's good. It's a good lifestyle. It helps you be yourself. It encourages you to pass on your wisdom to your child. What's the most rewarding thing that you've done or you feel is the best part about parenting?
Oh my gosh. Feeling like, you know, oh my gosh, that's heavy. For me, going into what you were saying about like the kind of crazy lifestyle, like I feel like mine was getting to be a little bit too much. And I almost feel like it was really good timing, even though it was not planned for us to become a family. And, being able to like just, you know, strip away all of that nonsense and then just like just get really centered and grounded. And then, to have something that's bigger than me to live for, something that is more important than myself, which is my son. And, getting to give him the things that I didn't get, and try to not make the mistakes, not have the same sort of struggles and things that I went through, and to sort of try to instill in him to be a good person and to make the world a better place. All these things. It's
I
it's
think
very
you
rewarding.
get clarity. That's what it is. You get
Yeah.
clarity. And then you
Yes.
see it through the way your parents looked at you and prioritized your life over
Right.
theirs. And um, for me, when I look back, and you always wanted to do stuff by yourself and pursue things, and then you have a child, and it's like this is meant to happen, and there's always a reason for everything, and the
Right.
clarity and the wisdom you give on to them, you hope that they learn how to play some music too, because you can jam with them when they're a bit older.
Yes.
But that's my hope. I'm kind of holding off on that. I know he
Right.
keeps thumping with his foot and stuff like that, so maybe he'll be a drummer. We need that in the family.
Yes. That's awesome.
Yeah, you know what, the music thing is great. So how do you think that this would all pan out? What's missing in music to light that spark under everybody's butt to check out some independent bands?
Um, Gosh, I mean, I think that there's a lot of, even though there's a lot of really good things about being independent musicians in 2020, like we talked about with the gear and technology and all of that, and it's seemingly so awesome because you can just upload an iPhone video of yourself, there's also, it's not nearly as level a playing field as it may come across, like viral stuff is not always organic. And so I think that there are people out there that would love to be exposed to more independent music, but it's like kind of hard to find. There are people who are really good at finding it, and then there's other people who just, they turn the radio on and that's what they're getting. They're getting what they're given.
There are people who also, like you said, aren't organically viral. You look at their social media and they think that if they pay for their likes or they pay for their followers, it looks better. But when you check out their YouTube and there's a million plays on a YouTube video, but only like two comments, like then you start to wonder, right? Um,
Right.
so that's another big issue. There's a lot of fakes. There's a lot of people who want to be good musicians. There's people who've tried relentlessly, and they still can't make any good music. There's some people who just also are really good musicians and don't get recognized. So it's always been like that. How does Hooked Like Helen want to stand out above all those people
Well,
or musicians?
yeah, I mean, for us, it's like, it's sort of been like worked for us and against us that we're kind of like a combination of genres. We don't really fit into one box, and we kind of are hoping to just keep it that way. Like we write really pop structured music, like the big chorus, and you can tell what section is what and all of that sort of thing. But then we like to keep a lot of organic instrumentation that we blend with, more of the moment, like pop elements and, contemporary electronic stuff. And, we're just basically trying to just, you know, say what we want to say and say it how we want to say it. And then just hope that it finds the people that, it resonates with.
You ever want to just drop tune it to like drop C and this like just play something heavier, or you just want to? You ever if you have that
Yeah,
feeling?
we're getting weird on this new EP. I will say that.
How do people find your music? Spotify, Apple,
Yeah.
Apple Music, is that what it's called? Apple
Mhm.
Music, and
Yeah.
anywhere you can find music, pretty much that's distributed digitally. And
Yep.
do you have a website as well?
Yes, we do. Hookedlikehelen.com. And it was just recently kind of upgraded and given a makeover, and we're happy with it.
Awesome. So, how do people get in contact with your website, your Facebook, your social media?
Yeah, Instagram's probably my favorite just because I like posting the pictures.
Mhm.
But we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and like you said, all of the different streaming deals. And Hook Like Helen is just where you can find all of it in one spot. You can find all of the socials and, tour dates, which are coming up hopefully soon.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate it. Check out Hooked Like Helen on Spotify and their newest Netflix movie that's called.
Highstrung free dance.
Thanks a lot, Nikki.
Thank you so much.